All right. So, hello there. I am a resident of Freeport, Illinois, and I live on South Chicago Avenue. So, this video is going to be me explaining basically everything that I have experienced while living here in this town. I will say that I am coming up on my first full year of living here in Freeport, Illinois, and I would just like to point out some things about not just the town, but of the very strange individuals that live around my home here in Freeport. And I have names. I have video footage, and I've been keeping documentation basically since we moved in last year. So, with that being said, I'm going to be throwing some names out there, and if you know these people and you know the situation, then I'm about to explain it from my side of the block, okay? So when we moved in here, it's just me and my partner. We don't have any pets or anything. We had some friends help us move in, I'm pretty sure. And it was cool, very quaint. It was cute. We came here in the summertime and it was very nice out, so it looked very beautiful around here, to say the least. And I noticed that there wasn't a fence, but I was like, okay, whatever. I have my own space around here. But anyways, fast forward weeks, probably a week or two into living here, we had this neighbor with the name of Mikala Thomas, who lived next door to us, and she is a African American female. Thinks she was pregnant, and I can't tell you who she all lived with because I just saw so many different people coming in and out of that house. I don't know if she had a man. I don't know whose kids were hers, because I think that she was watching people's kids or something like that. One time my partner and I were outside, smoking on our deck, and she calls herself peeping out her top window, and all I could see was her eyebrows, maybe the top of her eyes, and her top bun of braids. Okay? She's trying to introduce herself. She's like, "Hey guys, I don't really see you a lot." And I'm like, "Yeah, but you look out your window every day. You know when I'm coming home, so I don't know why you're pretending to act like you never see us." But I just thought it was really weird that somebody would try to introduce themselves from a window. I think that's kind of weird, especially if they're an adult. Like, are you afraid? Like, what are you afraid of? Are you scared? Like, I already saw her in person. Like, just come downstairs, come outside and introduce yourself. Like, why be a weirdo and introduce yourself that way? And so we're like, "Yeah, hey, what's up?" I said, "Don't be a stranger," but I didn't mean that in what came after, which was, I think, either that weekend or the following weekend. She had all these kids running around her yard or whatever, and they came into our yard, and mind you, my partner and I had just set out some plants, and we did not want the kids to step on them or to destroy them. So I walked over to her front porch, where she and a bunch of 18 different kids. I asked, "Who is the adult here?" And some girl pointed over to what I assume was Mikala, because again, I only saw her from the top of her head, so I couldn't tell that was her. And I kindly asked her, can you please have these kids, like, not on my yard? Like, we just put some plants down, and I don't want there to be any problems. And she acts like she's not listening to me. So mind you, again, this is a pregnant, what I think is an adult woman, okay? She introduces herself from the window, 1. 2, she can't even look at me in the face when I'm trying to ask her to just, not let her kids be, or whoever kids, playing on my front yard. I was not rude, I was not disrespectful, but ever since then, every time my partner or myself, whenever we came home, she would be outside, like literally just being so loud and obnoxious, like, the stereotypical, what they say, stereotypical Black woman being loud and obnoxious and just being just weird, okay? I was under the impression, and I know this is true, that she had many people coming through that were drug deals, okay? Because they would only park in front of her house and she would come outside, or some other younger female would come outside to that vehicle, and then that vehicle would leave. I know what a drug deal looks like, okay? I just thought that was just so weird. I'm assuming they got evicted because they had a U-Haul which they were just throwing stuff in, and they had been moving stuff over the course of a week or two, just grabbing stuff and leaving or whatever. And I guess on the last night of their stay, of their lease or whatever, they had a party with all these teenagers. And I come home, I park my car in the back, I would come up, and I just see all these kids, they're all looking at me. I don't really give a crap about it. I made sure my cameras were up. And the next morning, there's just trash all over their yard, like Solo cups and paper products. And I'm just like, yeah, that's awesome. Very trashy people. So yeah, that's your Mikala Thomas of Freeport, Illinois, who lived past tense on South Chicago Avenue. Okay? So next, we have the other neighbors who are of Latin descent, I guess Mexican people, which we share a driveway with. And the names of those individuals, which I don't know what they are. I guess a gay couple, because there's 2 men and like random kids who live here. Their names are Mario Vazquez and Antonio Vazquez. And their kids, I don't know who their kids are. There's, again, so many random kids who come through here. I don't freaking know. Anyways, so these people seem to be very obsessed with me and my partner. Anytime we come outside, here they come running outside their house. And that could mean if we are arriving home, if we're getting ready to leave, if we're taking trash out, if we're working on the car, like putting motor oil in, or, doing anything outside. Here they come literally busting out of their doors, or they just so happen to be arriving home at the exact time that we decide we're doing something outside. Very weird, very weird. And this has persisted for, like I said, we've been here for a year. It's been the whole year. And I just think it's very weird behavior that these 2 grown men are like so desperate for attention from me and my partner. I don't talk to them. Okay, one, I don't agree with I just don't agree with gay relationships. And they have all these kids together. It's kind of weird. They're just really weird people. I don't associate with them. And I assume because we don't want to be their friend, they're upset. So they do all kinds of things to try to get our attention. And it's just weird because they're like old, like they're probably in their 50s. Like me and my partner are young 20-something-year-olds. Like we don't have any business with these guys or their kids. And the time I tried to introduce myself, they were acting like, oh, they can't speak English, or, oh, they don't understand. So I'm like, okay, whatever. Can't say I didn't try, I introduced myself, but they were like, whatever. So every time we come home, these people are just sitting outside. They're outside, or they're also coming home at the exact same time as us. And I'm just thinking that's just so weird. Like, what are you doing? You have people like watching us or something. Like, what are you doing? Okay, I already know what's happening. This is just a little precursor video, but I have a lot more details to tell you. Anyways, these people next door, these older gay gentlemen, they I don't even know how to explain it. I'm just gonna say that they have no business being concerned or worried about me and my partner for any reason because of the age gap. They're not normal people. Every time we come outside, like I said, they're running outside, just being loud and obnoxious and weird and creepy and just standing there and watching us. It's very creepy. So, yeah, that's them. And then there's these other neighbors who live across the street, which I think the old white man, his name is Mike, and his wife, or whatever she is to him, her name is Katherine. And yeah, that lady Katherine, I'm assuming she just sits in her house all day, in her windows, watching us as well. Because whenever we come home, here comes the old white man, and he has this vehicle that he likes to rev the engine and just sit there. He's not doing anything. He's not going anywhere. He just does that only whenever we're home. That's it. I think that's very weird. I think that's creepy. I think that it's just very awkward behavior to do. So yeah, these are the people that live around me who are very weird individuals who are way too concerned about me and my life, way too concerned about my partner. It's very weird. So yeah, I'll have another video explaining a lot more about these people. But there's your Freeport, Illinois. I cannot wait to move out of here because the people are so weird.